Hey everyone, welcome back to the latest GoSkills Excel Challenge solution. How close did you get to solving it? Joining us is GoSkills' own Claudia Buckley with her solution. Check it out right now.
The first task was to create a 1-month schedule where values are randomly assigned to these 4 athletes from a list of 4 possible activities. To start off, our best bet will probably be to assign the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4 to each activity in the schedule. And for that, the rand array function does a great job. So let's start by entering equals rand array, open bracket, and the number of rows will be based on the number of athlete rows here in column A. So we can use count A to count that number, and open brackets, of course, for the count A function, and we just select the number of athlete rows that show up here, close brackets for the count A function, and comma to move on to our next rand array parameter. Similar for the number of columns. It's going to be based on the number of dates going across. So again, we use count A, open brackets. To make it easy, we can select the first date, Control Shift and right arrow to go all the way to the end, and close brackets. What's the minimum value that we have here? Well, our minimum value will be 1. And our maximum will be 4 because we have 4 activities. And we want whole numbers only. So for the integer argument, we will type true. Close brackets, and let's see what we get. We get exactly what we asked for. Random values numbered 1 to 4 filled out for the entire schedule. Now we just need these values to represent an activity. And there are a bunch of functions that can do that. We can use index, if, choose, switch. I will use the choose function for this particular scenario just because I think it's straightforward, it's easy to explain, and it's easy to understand if you're tackling a task like this for the first time. So what we're doing is to use the result of the rand array function as an argument for choose. So we'll want to go back to where we entered that rand array function, get in front, and type choose, open brackets. The first argument that's required is the index number. The index number will be the result of the formula we just created, that rand array formula. So after that, we'll need a comma to move on to our second argument, which is value 1, followed by the following values. Those will be the 4 activities that we spoke about. So we just need to assign text values to those index numbers, and we'll enter them in double quotes. So we can start with the word swim, then run, cycle, and hike. And we close this bracket. Brilliant. This looks great. Now, one thing that you should remember is that rand array is a volatile function. So every time your sheet changes, opens, or refreshes, the values on here will change. So to keep the schedule that's been created, we'll need to copy it and overwrite it as values. So I'm going to do that right now. Again, we use our Control Shift. I can use the down arrow and then the right arrow to select everything here. I'm doing Control C to copy, and then I'll just paste them as values. We can go here and just go paste values right here. And so I no longer have a formula in here. I have these random values assigned, but I used a formula to arrive there. So that made it super quick. Now, the next step that we want to be able to do is to select an athlete and a date from this section. And this is a simpler task, which if you're a beginner, you should be able to do quite easily. First, you want to click on the cell where you want the selection to happen. Go to the Data tab. Click on Data Validation and allow List. Your source will be the names of the athletes. So you just click in here and click the names of the athletes. Click OK, and you have your drop-down list. Similar process for the date. Click here, go to data validation, list, and the source will be the dates that we have here. And that looks great. So now we have our 2 drop-down lists ready. Now, how do we make an athlete's schedule show up over here? What we're really doing is extracting or filtering a portion of the schedule that meets certain criteria. What makes it a little bit trickier is that we need to apply 2 sets of filters, or some people might say doing a lookup with multiple values. With newer versions of Excel, the easiest way to do this is with the filter function, specifically 2 filter functions. And these will be our criteria. So if I were to grab an athlete's name here and a date here, it should show up on this side. And let's just make the athlete's name show up by doing this. So let's start by filtering using the athlete's name. And we're going to use the entire data set as our array. And I just want to lock these cell references in so that when we copy the formula, we have the right references. So I'm going to hit F4. And what we want to include is only the values where here is equal to the value in the athlete's name. So F4 again, and close parenthesis. All right, so we have Jude's entire schedule filtered out, but we also have his entire schedule, which is for the whole month of August, which isn't what we want. We know we're on the right track because we have the right athlete schedules. So how do we get just the schedule for this date? Well, we apply another filter, this time based on the date. So we jump right in front here and type filter, open bracket. We are filtering the result that we just got. So that's our array. And now we want to include only those where the value in the first row is equal to the value of the date here. And remember that we want a message that says no schedule if the date isn't on the schedule. So for the last argument, that's what we're going to enter. Within double quotes, we type no schedule, close bracket, and now we have Jude's schedule for the 3rd of August. We give it a visual check, and it is the right schedule. Since we want to see a 7-day roster, we've added 1 to each date going across, so whatever's entered here, we'll have a total of 7 days on that roster. So all we need to do now is to copy the formula that we entered and paste it in the remaining cells. We can test this by checking a couple of dates, varying the athlete's name, and it works perfectly. In fact, let's check a date closer to the end of August because September isn't on this schedule. So that's our solution. What's yours? If you have an older version of Excel that doesn't have the filter function, hop over to our Slack channel where we'll share an alternative solution. Thanks again to Jude's Jerriman for submitting this exercise, and we hope some aspect of it was useful or interesting to you.
So there it is. Did you get the same results? Did you use the same approach? Or did you try something different? We'd like to know. Share your take on the challenge in the comments below or join us for more discussion in our Slack channel. Link in the description. Thanks for participating, and make sure to subscribe to this channel to get an alert when the next challenge is released. We'll see you then.